Hey everybody, it's Tom Foster in the world of marketing. I have to do the clap first, Jay. That's what signals everything. That's like the I do a
Boom.
clap.
Boom.
Everybody, it's Tom Foster on the world of marketing, and I am here with one of my very best friends in all of the planet and universe, Jay Henderson. Jay Henderson is a legend, and many of you that are listening to this podcast know Jay Henderson or know of Jay Henderson. He's been on the podcast before. So I think you're probably a three-peat. I'm not sure how many times. Doesn't matter. It's been a long time. So I wanted to get you on again. So Jay, thank you, buddy.
So glad to be here, man. As always, want to help out if I can. I want to add value, and it's really great to see you as always. And thank you for having me.
Yeah. And we talk all the time. We just were talking last night.
Yeah.
So we talk probably every week. Sometimes we go longer than that, and I feel sad. But
Well, that's what I was just thinking. I mean, I love talking to you. So
well, and you talk to not just me. I mean, you and I talk a lot, but you also talk to a lot of my employees because we're always hiring people. And that's really the crux of this podcast, and why I wanted to talk to you again is that's what you do, is that you help people hire the right people. And so let's just talk about it again for the newbies, because some people don't know that you have some kind of special gift. You have a special, I don't know what else to say, a gift. You have this weird and wacky profile thing that does some kind of science. I'll call it science.
you nailed it. You nailed it. Right.
And,
so
yeah.
So here's the thing. I worked for Covey, this guy who wrote the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. You know, right?
Stephen Covey. We people have heard of him before, I think.
Yeah, you know.
And passed away a few years ago, but he did write the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, 7 Habits of Highly Effective Families. He wrote a lot of great books.
Yes.
Started what is it called? The Covey Institute. And you work there.
Yes. And when I left there was a company right down the road that was really doing what I wanted to do, which was teach sports psychology principles to business owners so that they could get the best out of their team members. Anyway, I was a nerd about all that stuff. So
it's a mindset. It's all about the mental game.
It is totally the mental game.
And that's an important key, everybody, is that, a lot of like premier athletes, Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, they have this mindset. And so it is like, what is that secret sauce? What is that thing they do? And how can we apply it to business? Right, Jay? That's what you're after. That's what you're
right. Because so exactly right. I was just kind of a geek about that stuff. I loved it. I was really into it. And so I found out that right down the road from the Covey Leadership Center was a company doing that stuff. They were teaching that stuff. They were really teaching leaders and managers in the Fortune 500 how to coach other people to higher performance. Like, you can have employees, you can be a visionary, you can have goals, and you can still inadvertently get in the way of performance, even though you are trying not to. You're trying to create performance and get the best out of people and maximize your investment in that asset, but get in the way. So how do you do that? How do you maximize the team without getting in the way? And there are some ways to do that. So anyway, I found out about this organization, and I went over there and I got this job with them. And then they made me take this weird, really bizarre profile. Some of you have heard the story before, but
some of you have done it. Some of you have taken this profile before, and you understand exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And if you want to do it, by the way, I recommend it. Obviously everybody should do this. I just retook it myself again I still haven't gotten the results. I still need to sit down with you and get my results. You need to tell me how nutty I am. I already know. You need to tell me the level from 1 to 10.
The level of nut. Yeah, well,
Nut.
I know my level of nuttiness.
We're all a little nutty.
We all got stuff.
But
anyway.
but it's great. What the profile tells you, what's so great about it is it tells you how to work with your people and how your people, it's going to give you the heads up and leg up on, well, one, if you're in the hiring process, it lets you know who's a nutbag and say, do not hire them right off the bat if there's red flags in there. And then two, it lets you know how to communicate, how to work with them, what things might set them off, what things are good about them, how you get more out of your employees. And that's the biggest, how do you get more out of them and how to communicate with them? I think that's the biggest benefit to it. Would you agree? Or
yeah, absolutely. I mean, once you've made a hiring decision and they're on your team, you can use the information in order to do exactly what you just said.
Otherwise you're just guessing.
Yeah.
Otherwise you're just guessing and you're hiring people like most companies do, which is like off the cuff. You got a billet to fill and you're like, well, thank God somebody signed up for this job. And then you find out, usually your gut tells you. That's a big part of it, is what does your gut say? And if your gut is saying no, you better listen to that.
That's exactly
right.
Yeah, that's exactly what I tell all my clients. If your gut says don't do it, you need to listen to that. If your gut says hire them, don't.
You gotta. Yeah, don't listen to that.
Don't listen to that.
I know. I was going to say that. Yeah.
Exactly. What you've got to do is you've got to, you might still hire them, but you don't just dive all in and fall in love with people and go for it. Yeah. So
because you're like 3, 4, 5, 6 months in, and you're like, oh God, I made a big mistake, and you're right back. You're even worse off.
Right.
So that's why you want to get the profile done way before you hire them. Like you interview them. I mean, this is what we do.
Yeah.
We interview them, we put the word out, get our resumes, interview them. If we like them, we send them to get we call it the J test. Send them to get the J test. It's a quick profile. It's like, positive or negative on these ridiculous statements, and then you order them in terms of priority, and you do it twice with 2 different sequences. It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
It's nothing tricky about it. Don't try to trick it. Don't try to fool it. Just be yourself. That's the important thing, is just really answer it in the best way that you can for you. And then the outcome of that, one, the person is either going to pass or fail. Like if they say babies are not good, then you don't want to hire them. That is actually one of the questions. Babies.
A baby.
Like a baby. Is it a good thing or a bad thing? And so anyway, but I can see how that can be interpreted in multiple ways. You
are revealing your bias right now.
Yeah, I know. I'm giving up the goods. I shouldn't do that.
No, it's okay. You're revealing your bias.
That's right.
It's all good.
But that's the great thing about it, is that then you have something in advance that gives you a picture, a window into somebody's personality traits and their biases and how they're going to behave when you hire them.
That's great. Well, look, I mean,
that's not all you do.
Right.
Now, the other thing is that what you've been really helpful with is coaching along the way. Because guys, everybody, I reach out to Jay whenever I'm having some kind of crisis. Jay is Gray. Jay is kind of my angel, and I mean, he's my great friend. I'm so fortunate to have his cell phone number, and he pretty much answers the phone whenever I call. But we've been friends for 20 years now, so I have that good fortune. But I know that you got this program where you work with law firms, doctors, business owners, and consult with them for a fee. And that's how you make your money, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you consult with them on their staff, right? Why don't you talk a little bit more about that, like how you do it?
So, well, look, I mean, 30 years of studying sports psychology, 30 years in business. I love the sports psych, the business stuff, I'm a performance kind of geek. I'm like, so when a business owner calls me, it's like, I've got this person, Johnson. Like, what the heck do I do with Johnson? What's with Johnson? Or they've had massive growth. They've gone from like 7 employees to 100 employees in 3 years. And they're going, who are these people? Like, I mean, they've got us here. They've helped us out. We got here, but like, now that we're here and we want to go there, how do I do that? Like, who are they, and are they the right people? Who's going to lead them? The people who are leading them? What is their story? And do they have leadership capacity? Are they the right person? Are they the right leader for that team? Are they, and then where are the holes? What's missing? So lately there's been a lot of big law firms calling me and saying, hey man, I've got these 15 leaders, let's get these people profiled, and what can you tell me? And because I know how these people think and make decisions, and it's an objective measure. This isn't the behavior profile like you see out there. I love all of them. I have no negative things to say about other tools, but you need an objective mathematical measure of how people think, which doesn't change. Behavior can be masked. Well, anyway, and so I'm able to do what I call it, like a leadership diagnostic. Who are they? Where can they take us? What do I need to do with them? Are they the right people? And then what ends up happening is I'm able to look and see this team, this whole organization, leaders and others, they're not happy. They need vision, or they need an offsite, or they need clarity, or your company needs more structured people, or your leadership team needs more practical orientation in their focus. Because if one of those two things is off balance or missing, it will impact going forward what happens: quality control, maintenance, system focus, and all that. So yeah, there's hiring with all the stuff you said. Like, are we getting the right person in the door, and are they toxic, or are they going to be somebody I can rely on, and that they're going to fit into the culture and be a boon to the organization, right? Make us profitable. There's that, but then there's what happens after that. What happens to everybody's out there right now doing like values and core values, and that's been going on for many, many, many years, right? But it seems to be a thing I'm hearing a lot more again. It's like kind of like the circle. Now everybody's back to core values. Well, you can have a list of core values on the wall, but when you go hire Johnson and Fredrickson and Henderson, and do they fit that? Are they
right?
You can all day long say these are our values, but they may not align. Anyway.
Well, they could, but you said it just a minute ago, is that, the people that got you to here, they might not be the same people that are going to get you there.
Right.
And you have to constantly reevaluate. And, in my company, we just really recently adopted EOS as our operating system, the EOS system, to run the business.
Yeah,
and huge. I think we're 5 or 6 months now doing it. I mean, it has made it and you said, core values, and and the big thing about EOS is the right people in the right seats. Do they want it? Can they do it? Do they love it? All of these things, and we've had to reevaluate a lot of that, and also the values, the goals. Now we have very specific goals for the company, and are the people that we have now going to get us to those goals? And if so, okay, great, but who do we need to fill? We have empty seats. And so
when you go to fill that seat, who are you going to fill it with, and how do you know?
Right. And then you need to you got to get a profile done, and that's what we're doing right now. I mean, we're just going through that, as you know, because we work with you. Whether it's me or one of my staff working with you to get the right people in, and make sure that we have a team that can help us grow to get to the next point. And that's what you're saying, is like, it's a never-ending thing. It's a journey.
It is.
And you've got to have, it's a very integral part of our success is the people that you have. Obviously, you got to work with people. So you want to make sure you got the right people there.
That's right. Let me just offer this as a value add here. Look, when you look at your business, and I'm talking to everybody, right, including myself, when you look at your business, it is made up of three things, and three things only at the highest level. And those three things are systems, and we've been hearing about that forever. Michael Gerber, E-Myth, every consultant in the world that you could give 50 grand to is going to tell you how to get your systems in order and help you systematize. That's critical, very big. The next thing is tasks, which is common sense stuff. Okay, you sell somebody something, they come in the door. Now, what are the tasks that are going to move that client through what I call the road to money? Every law firm has a road to money. Estate planning is a different road to money than family law, road to money, than personal injury, road to money. And EOS kind of stuff is going to go, what is your road to money, and how do we maximize that with the people that you... Okay, so back to the three things: systems, tasks, and those are the common sense oriented things that are key to follow through a road to money, that things get done efficiently on that road to money and effectively. And the third thing is people.
People.
It is people, right? So now your people are going to execute, by the way, that's tasks, execution, the strategy, that's the systems. So it's people, task, and systems. EOS is strategy and execution.
Yep.
Okay, right? So now what about that people side that are going to execute that strategy? And that is the key thing that we're talking about. And I'm helping a lot of firms right now actually do those three things, which is EOS. It is strategy and execution and people. So my program has a function of all three: the hiring, how do you coach, how do you execute, against what strategy. KPIs, by the way, are great, but they contribute to what I call a storm. Everybody's in a storm all day long. What do I pay attention to right now? See, success is not, we don't get success from what should be. We get success through what is. That's like a mouthful right there, because everybody's focusing on what ought to be. And that's important, by the way. That's the strategy part. That's the systems part. Okay. But success isn't found in what should be. That's all good, but it's found in what is.
Right. In reality.
It's reality. So there's three views. there's the rear view mirror, there's the magnifying glass, and there's binoculars. Okay, right? So, if you're leading your business by, what's that?
I just said interesting.
Yeah,
yes.
if you're leading your business by looking at the rearview mirror, which is gathering numbers of what has happened, it's behind you. You have no control over it. Good data. You need to do it. It's important. Then the magnifying glass is what's happening right now. That's better. And the two together, the rearview mirror and the magnifying glass, are really powerful. But it's got to be connected to the binoculars, which is where do we really want to go compared to where we are right now. And then that is where strategy and execution, knowing where are we now and where do we want to go and by when, and then that's all key. Now, the last thing, just as I'm kind of into this, everybody wants change. Everyone wants to shift something to go from where they are now to where they want to be. Let's call that change. And if you want to increase performance in the organization, get better efficiency, better execution, better effectiveness, people more motivated, more focused, more engaged, okay, then let's call that, we want sustainable change. We want that change to be sustained over time, which is why you do things like strategy and execution, okay? Right? Well, sustainable change comes from paying attention to the critical variables of that change over time. So it's paying attention to the critical variables over time. What are the critical variables? Well, what's your road to money? And
what's your scorecard?
Exactly. You start getting the frontline people into the what I call a scoreboard, which is a player's scoreboard, which is different than a leader's scoreboard. A leader's scoreboard is rearview mirror most of the time. Where have we been? What's happened over the last 3 months? You want a player's scoreboard, which gets the team engaged and focused on where we want to go and what are my commitments? What are my critical variables to make an impact on that? And that comes all the way back around to paying attention to the critical variables, making a difference down at the front level, driving efficiency and effectiveness. Anyway, I just love that. If you can put it in the bucket of, there's 3 things going on here, people. It's systems, tasks, and people. And all 3 are critical, right? So if you want to look at where you are, you can reverse engineer into higher performance just by looking at those 3 areas and asking yourselves, are the systems effective and efficient, right? Are the tasks clear, the critical variables? Is the team focused on that? That's the people part. And who do we have? Are they the right people? And are they focused on the critical variables? That's what it comes down to.
That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
And you help people like this every day. I mean, like I said, I couldn't endorse you more. I tell everybody, you're a fool if you're not using Jay Henderson in your hiring and your consulting, your entire consulting process.
Well, thank you for that. And I guess to put an end on that loop that I opened up there a minute ago, it's like sustainable change comes from paying attention over time. That's what coaching does.
Yeah.
And if you're an owner and you want to learn to coach, that's part of my program, teaching you how to coach. If you don't want to learn to coach, then you need to hire a coach who will help your people pay attention to the critical variables over time, because otherwise it's going to fall apart.
But the other thing too is accountability, and you were too close to it. And so that's the other thing that you bring to the table is you ask great questions that make us sit back and say, I didn't even think about that, whatever that is, because you don't have any skin in the game either way. You're just asking questions, and you have all this experience in working with diverse companies, and you can bring so much to the table. Anyway, so
yeah, so
I endorse working with Jay to get your profiles done for hiring and for getting ongoing coaching. And so the way to get a hold of him The way to get a hold of him, he's got a fancy website called jhenderson.org. That's not hard to forget. jhenderson.org. Tons of ways there to reach him, phone number, contact form. He's got books, he's got information. If you don't know anything about him, read up and get to know him. But if you do, like if you don't know anything about him, your head's in the sand. And if you do know, but you haven't hired him or haven't worked with him, then take the plunge, because it's going to change your life forever, your business life forever. That's what it's done for me. And I can't. It is one of the most important tools, you are, Jay, that we've got in our toolbox, and I appreciate you so much.
Oh, thanks, man. It's a blast for me. I love the stuff, and it's so much fun. When I found the profile, when I took it to get that job way back when I left Covey, it blew me away. I mean, think of it, an objective measure of human performance.
Yeah,
it's like
it's a fun little profile to take. It's funny. I giggle when I'm doing it. I'm like, what?
These are weird. It's so weird.
It's so weird questions, and then you got to order them in terms of. Anyway, I don't want to spoil it for people. I hope I've just said enough to make you very curious to check it out, because and so well, I'll let you, if anybody's interested, give Jay Henderson a call. Talk to him about it. Talk to him about pricing on costs. But I'll tell you what, whatever it is, because I don't even question what it is. We pay the man for whatever, and we don't even question it. I've paid for consulting and coaching with the man. I don't question it, because it is so worth it. And it is such an integral part of my business. I can't imagine having business without it. So it's just a piece of what we do. It's one of our expenses.
Great. Well, that's great, man. Thank you for that. That's like a reason.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's why we do these podcasts. I only like to have good people that I work with, that I believe in, on here, and I'm just trying to get the word out about you, buddy.
I appreciate that.
That's the deal.
That. Love it.
You got anything else you want to say?
Well, I just hope that I've said something helpful to everybody. There's a great book. So we're going to close, right? But there's a great book that's called Flow. I'm not telling you to read it, even though it's a great read. But it's an older book. I mean, it's 25 years old probably. But it's by a guy named, he's got a wild name. He's Hungarian history. Anyway, his name is Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. But anyway, he was a professor of psychology at the University of Chicago. And he did this study. And in this study, this is back when they had beepers. They didn't have cell phones. That's how long ago this was. In this study, he gave everybody a beeper and a pad of paper, or like a little booklet and a pen or whatever. And he said, whenever we ping you with this beeper, stop what you're doing as soon as you can and write down the answer to these questions. So he ended up with I think it was 800 people and like all these different answers. And he was trying to determine the psychology of optimism, or the psychology of performance, or something like that. What engages people and makes them happy. And he came up with 8 components of flow. And the first 3 components I want to share, because you can use them to grow your business. You don't even, if you apply it, you don't even have to hire a coach like myself. Okay. And the 3 components, because it's super simple, but it's important. It's critical. The first one is clear goals. Duh, everybody knows that. But there are ways to have those goals. There's certain types of goals. There's different kinds of goals. Result goals, process goals, impact goals are better than importance goals. It's not a priority issue, because you can argue about what's the priority all day long. But the key is, what's the impact we're going to have? So the clear goals, the next one is clear steps to achieve that goal. That's your task orientation. The third one is feedback loops. Feedback loops. So is the team crystal clear about what that team's goal? There's KPIs, but then what's a key impact goal, something different, more important. Because KPIs can not confuse people, but there can be too many of those. And now we're just as distracted as we've ever been.
Right.
Now, then though, it's like, what are you going to do to achieve these, to impact this? Then the feedback loops, and the feedback loop is the scoreboard stuff. It's really, really something, man. I applied this in one firm and they grew by 47%. Disbursements increased by 47%.
Wow.
They doubled in 7 months. They were I was blown away. They had a 30% productivity and efficiency increase month over month for 7 months in a row. They tracked it all. It's all in a spreadsheet. They called it the J tracker, like you call it the J test. They called this the J tracker, and they did every team from medical records down to demand summary demands. But anyway, it just is really fun to see.
It works, folks.
It does.
It works, folks.
So those steps, hopefully that's adding value.
You gave plenty of value.
Good, man.
Now, anybody that wants more of it, jhenderson.org, check them out. Give them a call. Shoot them an email. What's the email, Jay?
Oh, let me give you this email. It's a little different because it's the other phenomenal website you built.
The real hiring.
So I want to share this and then tell them how they can get something if they want. Jay@realtalenthiring.com.
Yeah.
Realtalenthiring.com. And if you will send me an email and put perfect gifts in the subject line, something like that, I will send you templates and strategies for the whole hiring process before you run the profile.
Wow.
These things come out of my $2,000 system as to how to hire people. But if you'll apply these templates, so easy. Fill them out, answer these questions. It'll change the game for you in the interviewing process. And then when they run the profile, we'll really know that's the best, that's the perfect interview. Anyway, I just wanted to offer
give me an idea that we have to talk about another time. But That's great.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. This has been my great friend, my guest, Jay Henderson, my buddy. I love you so much, Jay. Thank you so much for jumping on the show again.
Thank you.
And everybody send him a note to Jay at Real Talent Hiring. Say perfect. What did you say? Perfect gift?
Yeah.
Perfect gift. And he's going to hook you up.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. This has been Tom Foster and Jay Henderson on the World of Marketing. Have a fantastic day, a fantastic weekend, and I will see you next week. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
God bless.